Hello everyone, welcome to another exciting Minecraft tutorial. I am Tyken, and today I wanted to show you guys how to switch out textures in your texture pack. First of all, you need Paint.net or any other imaging program that can handle transparency, but like GIMP or Photoshop, but I always prefer Paint.net because it's simpler, easy to use, and it is free. Although some other programs are pretty good and they're free as well. Anyway, you're going to want to open up Paint.net. And now you're going to want to find your alternate texture that you want to use. What I've done is I've compiled a bunch of alternate textures all in one image file, so they're pretty much all here, and I don't have to fuss with going through different textures and every time I want something different. What you're going to want to do now is after you dragged it and dropped it into Paint.net, you're going to want to go to your texture pack, which here's my own personal one that I use. You're going to want to grab the terrain file and drag it down to Paint.net as well. It's going to ask you if you want to open it or add layer. You're going to open it and it will come up in another tab, so you can switch back and forth pretty easily. Now what you want to do is you want to figure out what do you want to swap out, like what don't you like in your texture pack or that you wish could be better. Just say you don't like the wooden doors. Like, you saw a wooden door from another texture pack that you liked, or you just don't like blue, or whatever reason. In my texture pack here, I have a couple of alternate doors and such, and just say you want this wooden door, the red one with the green little gem in it. What you'll do is you come up here to Tools, click Rectangular Select. You're going to want to click at the edge of the texture and drag it down all the way to the bottom corner. You want to select the entire thing, and to do that you have to be sure you know what dimensions it is. All the textures in this texture pack are 32 by 32, and if they're bigger than the other ones, then you pretty much just double the size. So a door is basically just two textures on top of each other, so it's a 32 by 64. And to be sure, you can come down here and it should say how many you've selected. It's a 32 by 64 area. Okay, once you've selected your texture, you're going to hold Control and press C. Oh, and if you're wondering how to zoom in and out, you can just hold Control and scroll your mouse wheel. If you don't have a mouse wheel, you can come up here and manually type it in, or just zoom in, zoom out. I prefer using my mouse wheel, but not everyone has one. Anyway, after you hold Control and C to copy the image, you're going to want to come over to your actual texture, and you want to hold Control and press V, which is to paste. So now that we have it on this texture, after you paste it, it should let you just click on it and move it around, kind of like drag and move, like a window screen. After you do that, you align it perfectly over the old door texture and just release it. You have to be careful that it's perfectly over the other door and not encroaching on any other textures, or else it will mess up them when you look at it. But so far, you can zoom in really close and make sure you get really good precision, which is one thing I do like about this program. And then when you're done, you just hold Control and press S, or you can save manually, and it should ask you if you want to save. And after that, you just drag your terrain file into your bin folder, not your bin folder, your Minecraft jar file, which I have another video tutorial, I think it was the one before this one, that shows you how to swap out textures, in your texture pack, I mean. So you pretty much can just follow that tutorial if you don't know how to replace your terrain file. But it's pretty easy to do, and let's go ahead and do another quick example. Like, say, you don't like the ore blocks in my texture, because a lot of people are iffy about it. They either like it or they don't. So a lot of people prefer these down here, the ones from the official Gerdoku pack. Mine's just a unofficial remix. He likes it though. He just has different preferences than I. Anyway, what we're going to do here is, let's see, you want these three. So you're just going to want to click at the corner and drag it all the way to the opposite corner. You can do these one at a time, but since they're all together, both here and on the other one, it's much easier to do. So what we do now is switch over to the other one. We'll zoom in over our iron, gold, and diamond block, and we can just drag it over here and directly on top of it. You want to make sure it's not, like I said before, you don't want it to press over any other textures. Luckily, Notch recently implemented that you only need the top one changed. Right here can be completely blank. The ore blocks now take all their textures, their top, sides, and bottom from the top one, so you can leave these blank. But if you prefer, you can just hold Control, paste, press V, and just paste it again, and drag it all the way down onto the next one. And you can do so again and again until it's directly like this. Another thing you can do, they have some texture packs that completely replace the smooth stone with glass, so you can see through it all the way to like gold, iron. It doesn't affect the stone itself, like it still takes a pick to break through, and you still get stone when you break it. But it looks like glass, so you can see completely through it, and you can see where all the minerals are. While that is kind of a neat thing to do, and you can do that, it's generally frowned upon and considered cheating, so I don't really recommend it. You can always change your texture pack back after, but I generally, like I said, frowned upon, so I wouldn't do that. But let's say you have a texture... you build an entire room out of cobblestone, or at least mostly cobblestone, and you want to put some hidden arrow traps in there. But, of course, the arrow traps are pretty obvious, because they're just holes in the wall waiting to shoot out at you. What you can do is zoom into your cobblestone texture, or any other texture that you want to use, like, say, sand even, if you want to do, like, Indiana Jones or something. You can copy your cobblestone texture and bring it over here to your dispenser texture, and you can paste and drag it right over the front of the dispenser. So now the dispenser should look exactly like the front of cobblestone. So if you have other cobblestone surrounding it, it blends in perfectly. Although other people have to have the texture pack to see that, but if you're doing your own video and hiding it, then it doesn't really matter. And there's tons of other things you can do. You can replace all these other textures. The only thing you have to do is you have to make sure you place it directly over the old one. It doesn't matter what you replace it with. You can, for instance, you can swap out grass. You can swap out even dirt and stone. Their textures would be switched, or at least part of their textures would be switched, but they would still behave the same way as they're supposed to. So it's pretty much the same as a texture pack. It changes the look of the item, not the function. So if you want it to be really sneaky, you could even build an entire floor out of wood or something. And what you could do is you could take the wood texture and come over here, copy it, and paste it over the TNT or the dynamite, whatever you want to call it. And you can pretty much do this on all sides, and it would look exactly like a block of wood. So it's a good way to hide things as well. And even though they look like wood blocks, they would still explode and behave exactly like TNT. So it's a fun little interesting thing you can do. I don't really do that. I just swap out the textures for what they're supposed to be, but there's still neat things you can do with it. But anyway, that's going to be it for this tutorial. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. If you want to know how to install your edited texture pack once you're done, I have a video I did recently, and I'll link it in the description if you need it. And I think that's going to be it for this tutorial. I hope you all liked it, and I'll see you guys next time.